back, Letterman. I still don't understand how you. I'm still trying to get my head around how you're trying to get a job that doesn't exist, that only one person has. But this is your plan.
Yeah, this is my plan. And I fooled myself and everyone else by telling people I wanted to be a writer, a comedy writer. Because I recognized, just like you pointed out, that there weren't a wide variety of openings for the kind of thing that I ended up doing. But if you watched The Tonight Show in those days, in the early 70s, late 60s, they would have comedians on routinely, one maybe two different a week.
Yeah.
And often they would mention that those comedians were appearing at the Comedy Store. The Comedy Store, and then they would go on to tell you it was a place where comedians tried out their craft, and it was on Sunset Boulevard. So now there's the roadmap.
But it's not the roadmap. You're not going to get on the show. Carson gives you one of these, invites you over to the couch, and offers you his job.
No, but it pretty much, that is exactly what happened. Yeah. I went there.
And that was your plan somehow.
It was my plan, but I thought, and it wasn't just my plan, it couldn't have been more obvious that if you went to the Comedy Store, someone from The Tonight Show might see you and put you on The Tonight Show. Right. Not far-fetched.
That's not far-fetched, but moving from the chair to behind the desk, how does that happen?
All right, well, so I went on, and I was in California, moved out in 1975. In 1978, I was a guest on The Tonight Show.
I know how it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you conceive of such a thing?
I don't understand the question.
You thought Johnny Carson was going to leave?
No. Yes. Because every time there was a Johnny Carson contract, they would play the game, who will replace Johnny Carson? And there was always, Chevy Chase, David Brenner, Rich Little was in the running. Richard Dawson.
Rich Little may have been the best choice. Richard Dawson. I used to see him, and he almost talked exactly like Johnny. He had the cadence down. Him and Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
Seemed the most like Johnny to me.
So there was, and the guest hosts, of which there were many, were always thought to be, considered for the permanent job.
And how much confidence did that show you of Johnny Carson? I don't think there's been a talk show host since that puts out a bunch of guest hosts that are younger than him.
No. I certainly didn't have that confidence. I was afraid that if I, I was off for the 6 weeks because of my heart surgery. I was scared silly every day that they would
Janine Garofalo
that they would take the show away from me, and then I would have a heart attack.
I thought you had a heart attack.
No, I didn't. I never had a heart attack. I had the surgery.
Yeah. To prevent a heart attack.
Yeah, but then the shock of losing the job would have given me a heart attack.
But isn't the surgery to prevent a heart attack much worse than a heart attack?
I loved it. Jeez, I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Really?
Yes, everything.
They tear you open.
They not tear you. I can remember I went in there for an angiogram to see. I knew I had something wrong. I had the coronary artery disease. And they said, well, that's the kind of thing we ought to keep an eye on. And I said, okay. So the last time I went in for a test, the night before I ran 6 miles on the treadmill. I go in for the test, and they said, you're not going anywhere. So they wheel me into the thing, and then all of a sudden it fills up with people I've never met before in my life. Yeah. And there's the heart surgeon, the thoracic surgeon, his buddy, there's Dr. Wayne Isom and Dr. Carl Krieger, my friend Donna Riley, and then the anesthetist, the anesthesiologist. They're the heart-lung guys, the guys that...
Kildare?
And I said, which one of you? Now I'm scared
Who's in
silly.
Charge?
Yeah, I'm scared silly.
Sure.
And I noticed that my surgeon is this. I said, holy God, you're missing a thumb. He said, that's right. We all had a good laugh. But I'm trying to be funny because I'm scared to death.
Yeah.
And so I say, which one of you is going to operate the bone saw? Thinking there's no bone saw involved.
My
and the
Lord
kid in the corner
God.
does this. And I said, holy shit, just do me a favor. I don't want to hear the bone saw. And they all laughed and said, don't worry, you're not gonna hear anything. So pretty soon they're wheeling me down. They got me in the gurney. They're wheeling me down to the operating room, and a woman You see them in every hospital, and they're walking, but they're hooked up to the standing IV, and they're walking by. And so I'm just, like this. And she walks by, and she says, "Oh, look, it's David Letterman." And the anesthesiologist behind me, the rare time an anesthesiologist can make a joke that means anything to anyone, he says, "Don't worry, Mr. Letterman, we'll have her intubated." And I'm still not sure what intubated means, but everybody laughed. So it was more like a party at your house than surgery. And then the next thing I remember was a guy, a disembodied voice, with his hand on my shoulder saying, "It went great." And I thought, that's all I need to hear. Wow. And it was, from then on, it was Mardi Gras. It was fantastic.
Well, this is like a hypochondriac's dream.
Yeah,
right?
It was wonderful, wonderful. And then I couldn't stop talking about it, and everybody was sick of it. And I finally just ran out on the topic because nobody else wanted to hear about it anymore. And I wanted to know, how long was I on the heart-lung machine? Did they actually take my heart out of the cavity? Did they pass it around? Was it in the lobby? What did they do with it? And they'll tell you exactly what they were doing. I was on the heart-lung machine for 43 minutes.
Does the heart move? Do they touch the heart?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I don't know. In some cases, in extreme cases, they actually remove it from the cavity. In other cases, I think it's just left where it is. But the interesting thing about the heart surgery is you think in terms of your coronary arteries.
Yeah.
What would you guess is the diameter of a coronary artery?
2 inches.
Norm, they don't have plumbing in this building that's 2 inches in diameter. It's a lot of people think, the size of a pencil. Well, it's not. It's the size, it's the diameter of the lead in a pencil.
What, the number 2 pencil? I'm trying to get an idea.
Number 2 pencil.
Yeah.
So when it was all over.
Very, very thin.
Yeah, and this guy's doing this with it. They're bypassing stuff, and the guy's in there. This guy is in there tying knots. God. Yeah. I just loved it because it was all about me.
You never found out how the thumb come off?
Yeah, it was a farming accident. He was from Texas.
He's a farmer?
Well, he and his dad, when he was growing Norm, it's all I could afford.
The next time you go to a hospital, you must remember this. An anesthesiologist does not have to be there with you the entire time. As a matter of fact, they make a lot of money by moving around. But if you ask them, then they're forced to stay with you.
Yeah, no, he was gone. But I loved him. It was great, and it was delightful. And but then the next day I got angry because when I had this, it went great. To me, that was the hand of God. And I thought, fine, bring the car around. Mm-hmm. So the next morning I wake up and my cardiologist walks in and he looks at the computer and he says, And I said, what do you mean, He said, well, you've got a rub. Nobody said anything about a rub. And I said, what's rub? And he says, sometimes when they cut the pericardial sac, your heart it'll rub the heart. Yeah, exactly. And quite angrily I said, this is the worst decision I have ever made in my life. And he said, no, it's all right. Settle down. Everything's fine.
He'd seen the morning show.
But I was, I thought I was free and clear. Yeah. But then the rub went away and everything was fine.
Yeah. Why is it when you walk down the street, there's not half the people with nooses around their necks? What makes life insist? Let me put it that way.
Well, I think that there is somebody expressed depression when you're in a deep clinical depression, provoked by mix-up of chemicals, lack of chemicals, too many chemicals, that you are seeing the world with 20/20 vision. Mm-hmm. And that we have built into us a certain amount of chemicals that control our brain and make things palatable. Because without that, people would be walking around with nooses in their necks.
So, do you ever wish that maybe you were less smart, maybe you were more...
I wish I was as smart as you.
Well, I'm not smart.
Oh, you're smarter than I am. I wish I...
No.
In terms of being intelligent, I think you're high here. I would probably be next, and Adam might get to you. I think he probably balances the scale.
Subscribe to Nom Burger King.